Biscuit Club.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second episode of what is known as the Biscuit Club podcast. I am Ralph Six. Blue Grod is with me. Say hi, Blue.
Hello.
There he is. And we have a special guest this week, the Rosses. Hello, the Rosses.
Whee!
So the Rosses we have invited on here to help us discuss what is known on the DC Universe chat boards as the DCW. Ross, can you tell me what is the DCW?
Well, it's like this fan community where we have gotten like a bunch of different characters from a bunch of different eras and all pieced them together into the same continuity, which can cause problems at times because people are like, is this going to be in the canon? And oftentimes we have to like selectively cut and paste certain parts of lore to get exactly what we want. And it is like often this like big dramatic goings on.
That sounds fascinating. So I wonder, it makes me wonder, the people who actually create the DC comics, I wonder if they have the same problems.
I don't know. I mean, they must have some sort of writer's room, but it is for sure not as weird as ours, and they probably also had the same problems. Because
Right.
I have had the same problems, like, should this be canon?
Gotcha. And then you got to make your story match up everybody else's story.
Yeah, I haven't had to do that in my previous works. I've had to make my stories match up with my other stories, like, ooh, 3 years passed, these people are here.
In your other stories, was that fan fiction as well?
Yeah, but in a separate thing that way of, like, blossomed beyond fan fiction and grown into a fully self-contained, if you can call taking elements from 4 separate series, self-contained universe.
Okay. Sounds fascinating. But the DCW is a group, from what you said, a group of fan fiction writers who have gotten together, met on the DC Universe boards, figured out, hey, we all want to write stories. Let's make them all match up to each other. I got that right?
Yeah, I guess. I came along like a week or 2 ago.
Gotcha. So what characters are you writing about?
I am writing Firestorm, who I have completely redone. And like, when I look at the Firestorm comics, I look between that and the people I have made them into, and I look, oh, what have I done to these people?
Uh-oh.
And I mean, it's in the good sense, as in they are still like perfectly solid. But they have I just like decided, oh, screw it, I'm gonna throw these out and start with something completely new.
All right, so I'm going to tell you a story real quick. This is a secret. Not many people know this. On paper, Firestorm was created by Jerry Conway and Al Milgrom. But in reality, it was created by me. I invented Firestorm. See, what happened was, when I was a little kid, they had a contest on the back of a cereal box where you could create the next Super Fan. And I created what I called at the time Fireman. That's right, Fireman. And
you mean like the Mega Man boss?
I don't know what that is because I'm in my 40s, but I believe you. But it's Fireman, and he's got fire shooting out of his head, the picture I drew, and I sent it in. And then years later, when I went into the comic book shop, like my first or second time in a comic book store, there on the stands was the Fury of Firestorm, starring what appeared to me as little Ralphie to be
I love
my
those
creation,
comics.
Fireman. So therefore, they have been lying to you all this time. I am the inventor of Firestorm. So
then you could also say that I am the inventor of Firestorm, because like I tossed everything out, and now you know how the Flash is the fastest man alive? Ronnie Raymond is the weirdest kid alive.
Okay.
Weird as in strange things happen to him on the daily, and he himself is strange. Like he has had so many crazy things happen to him, it doesn't even faze him anymore.
Okay.
And that's not even counting the fact that he fuses with a 36-year-old nuclear physics professor and flies around in the sky with his head on fire.
So that's not the strangest thing.
Not even close.
Interesting. So what kind of adventures has he gotten into so far and what you've been doing?
He has had to face like this character called Captain Croak, which is actually an adaptation of one of my old villains from my other series. Which came up with he's leading an army of frogs because a group of frogs is actually called an army to rob a bank on Wall Street, and this is Firestorm's first adventure as a superhero. He flies in, meets up with supporting cast member Waterweaver, and eventually glides over to confront the villain. I'm gonna paraphrase here. I was expecting like this guy with like a mind control helmet and a cool costume, but I just got this like kind of disheveled guy in his mid-20s with an iPad and a t-shirt, and like we totally burst into laughter, and then "Do not mug me," he said in this like super high-pitched voice, and like seriously, oh my god, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Either this guy is the result of an accident at a helium factory, or he is one of the voice cast for Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Okay. Interesting. And so what issue are you on right now?
I have completed a total of 3 chapters, each of them having a separate, but most of them have been about introducing the total cast.
Okay. And who else is in the cast besides Ronnie Raymond?
Martin Stein, of course. He works as a nuclear physics professor at Columbia University. There is Liana Alista, alias Waterweaver, a superhero from what seems to be another world with an unknown history and powers over water, as well as improvised combat skills. And there is Ronnie's best friend, Libra Gatami, alias Life Force, who is one of the best martial artists in Manhattan at the age of 15, the same age as Ronnie. And at that age, and he comes from like this Tibetan monastery where everyone is a metahuman and they all have like powers over life energy. Like they can give or drain life energy at a touch.
Wow, sounds dangerous.
Yeah, I actually planned an antithesis of Life Force to come out in Chapter 5 called Siphon, who is related to Libra's origins, but, not, like, personally.
Gotcha. A little preview there for us. Thank you.
I also do a Green Lantern story called On the Job.
And what's that about?
Well, at first I designed it to be an office comedy for some reason, where all the Green Lanterns hung out on Oa and like did weird things together. After Hal, who I am writing for, got a promotion to like this galaxy hopping field agent who's visiting different planets and helping different people. And it kind of like escalated from there because I don't draw outlines for my work. I am guided by the hands of fate. A lot of my biggest lore-changing decisions have come from gut feelings and idle thoughts, which was exactly one of those idle thoughts. I think I had it while I was laying in bed at one point that inspired me to turn this from a office comedy to a personal growth story starring a character named Jace Valerian, a professional telepath. He doesn't get paid for it. I think I nailed his job down as freelance fashion designer.
Okay.
And he is like busy exploring the universe for some teammates of his, and then he's wondering, what are all these people doing in green uniforms, like literally surviving in the vacuum of space when I have like this craft I'm traveling in? And he takes notes, he tallies how many he's seen, and finally he gets the guts to ask one, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they tell him about the Green Lantern Corps, and he thinks, maybe I can get support from them to help me explore this universe, because, to be honest, I was asked to do this, and I get the job done. And so he goes off to Oa, and for some reason, probably because he's worthy, and because he knows no fear, and because he's already been a superhero for like a year, and he's saved worlds multiple times over, they decide to make him a deputy Green Lantern.
I would want that same thing. I don't have any powers though, but I would definitely be down to be a deputy Green Lantern.
Yeah, although this thing is because I don't know why. Just that now it's like his path to growth, both as himself like on another world that he's not native to again, and as a lantern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're kind of seeing the Green Lantern Corps through his eyes in your story.
Yeah, through his eyes. Although there are two points of view. I have a tendency of narrating with two two or more points of view. So in this case, it is Hal Jordan's and it is Jace Belaron's.
Okay, so Hal Jordan is like the major Green Lantern in your story?
Not really. It is through Jace's eyes, but Hal Jordan is one of the points of view. It's like a master and student relationship.
Gotcha. That sounds interesting. That sounds cool. Are there any other familiar Green Lanterns showing up?
Not explicitly yet. It's still kind of in its earlier stages, and I haven't had any giant ideas yet.
No Kilowog?
Not explicitly yet.
All right, so I'm here to sell you on including who I believe is one of the greatest Green Lanterns of all time, and his name is Nort. And he is a misunderstood.
Oh, I heard of that guy. He was in the Justice League International comics. Those are hilarious. I like to voice them, and I'm always.
He was in the comics.
When I voice JLI, I give Scott Free, Mr. Miracle, like this British accent.
Okay. New Genesis, I guess, all British. That makes sense.
I mean, I don't know why, but now him and all of the associates have these horrible British accents because I can't do accents. I can do 10, 15 different voices, but I cannot do accents.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I can pull out a Texas accent sometimes, but that's only because I'm from Texas. But if I start trying to sound like I'm British, I'm from nowhere you've ever heard of. But explore Nort for me. He was more than just showing up. He was the leader of Justice League Antarctica. Which,
there was a Justice League Antarctica. Why does the world need a Justice League Antarctica? It's
Someone's got to protect the penguins.
There's nothing
Someone
there.
must protect the penguins.
Not the penguin, of course. The penguins.
No, the penguins. That's right. It was Nort, the Scarlet Skier, some other characters. Hijinks ensued.
I love hijinks. I write hijinks all the time.
I'm telling you. Now they'll try to tell you.
I think I wrote let me remember. Like, the first episode of a show I'm writing started with someone wiping out horribly 50 feet in midair in a mountain town at a music festival. Someone recording that, and then I bet I can get more views than your stupid wipeout video. I dare you to do that. I accept your dare.
Okay, that sounds like hijinks.
I'm writing that. That is a comedy show.
I see. So yeah, okay. What about Firestorm? Any familiar characters going to show up in Firestorm besides the Ronnie Raymond and the mentor guy there?
Martin Stein isn't a mentor. He's kind of like this.
Yeah.
It's like weird best friend / work associate.
Yeah.
And to be honest, no, I did plan for Killer Frost to have a one-off. But then I have and that's still in the upcomings. But I basically tossed out everything you ever knew about the guy and just started from a blank slate.
Start from the very beginning.
Which is why chapter 1 I now realize is called The Beginning of Everything.
Cool. Great name. Important to start somewhere. You might as well start at the beginning of everything.
Yeah. Sometimes I laugh at the fact that the working title of it is called Nuclear Fallout, a very not good thing that is very nervous to some people whenever people talk about nuclear power, and yet I'm writing what is basically a comedy.
Cool. I look forward to reading it. Where can someone find DCW? I know I don't think the stories are being just put on the DC Universe boards, right?
Actually, they are. They literally every single issue is on the big main thread, which we try to keep free of off-topic chatter, but over the past 2 days we have done a horrible job at doing that.
It happens.
No, considering that at some point I laughed the hardest I ever have in a month, 2 nights ago. I'd say it was worth it.
All right, good. Yeah, Biscuit hijinks must ensue sometimes, and I figure our Biscuits just go everywhere. Blue Grod, are you out there?
Yeah.
Don't you also write for DCW?
Yeah.
What are you writing?
I do a elongated man story.
No, that kind of makes sense to me, knowing from last time who your favorite character of all time was. What's going on in Elongated Man?
So far, I'm wait.
Oh no,
You there?
Gride.
Sorry.
Did you fall through a time portal again?
It reminds me of
Yeah.
Jace.
Gride, you gotta watch the time portal.
Jace, did you fall through a time portal again? No, I created a time portal, and then a squirrel fell through it, and then now we're all being ruled by a bunch of tyrant squirrels with plans on world domination. Don't blame me, Liliana.
That's what happens. That's what happens. You gotta be careful. You gotta avoid the portal. Squirrels will take over. Shoot. So, Gride, who is Sue Dibney in your Elongated Man story?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, because I love Sue Dibney. I just gotta, I gotta go out. I gotta support the characters that I think should show up. Nort's a good one. Sue Dibney's a good one. Killer Frost is a good one. The Rosses. Will Jason Rouge be showing up at any time?
That would kind of have to involve some giant continuity changing event. Like, he might appear as a cameo role, but I am not killing off a 15-year-old just so. I'm not doing that to him.
Just to get in another character. I got you. So, okay. Well, this has been great. I'm looking forward to finding your stuff somewhere out there on the boards. I want to know more about your Firestorm. I definitely want to know about your
telepathic. He is not a telekinetic. I mean, I think he knows someone who is. Then again, that guy is also a researcher, / genetically modified / species changed, who can open a portal in the very fabric of the universe, reach into a space outside of our dimension, pull stuff out, and he uses it as a storage box.
Look, we just talked about the dangers of portals. You gotta avoid the portals.
It's not a time portal, it's a psychic portal.
Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, thank you for clarifying, because I was getting a little bit nervous. I gotta be honest, I was getting a little nervous. Before I let you go, the Rosses, I got one more extremely important question for you, and this is probably the most important question I've had for you all day. Do you like biscuits?
Biscuits in the British sense, as in cookies, or British in the or biscuits in the American sense, as in biscuits?
Flaky, buttery, luscious biscuits.
Don't ask me about food. I'm the wrong person to ever ask about food.
You know what? I'm going to take that as a yes. So thank you very much for joining us on the Biscuit Club. Another supporter of Biscuits, y'all. Thank you. So we're almost out of time here, but I wanted to talk real quick before we go, and I did check with Blue on doing this beforehand, but I think our 5 listeners know the Biscuit Mob tends not to take things too seriously out of all things, besides biscuits, and if pineapple is an acceptable pizza topping. But we're recording this on June 7th, 2020, and it turns out we've learned that some things do matter. For example, Black Lives Matter. So I think it'd be a little silly of us if we didn't acknowledge what was going on out there right now. So our hearts, our minds, our thoughts, our prayers, our sorrow goes out to the family of George Floyd, also the family of Ahmaud Arbery, the family of Breonna Taylor, of Stephon Clark, of Philandro Castile, and really I can't list them all. So I don't know much about much, but I know that it's time for a change. So please go out there, spread peace, spread love, and biscuits, of course. Please spread lots of biscuits. So thank you very much for listening, y'all. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll do something ridiculous. Bye.
Biscuit clan.